Welcome to Politically Unstable with Charles Hurt, Washington Times opinion editor. I'm your host, Andy Parks, and I'd like to remind you that you qualify for a 50% discount on an annual digital subscription to the Washington Times simply by going to washingtontimes.com/Andy. That's washingtontimes.com/ANDY. And now here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Charles Hurt, Washington Times opinion editor. Biden paves path to Trump's second term. The Democrats can't seem to see the forest for the trees sometimes. They create the messes, and they don't even realize it.
Yeah, it's really incredible. And this is not stuff, a lot of this stuff that these guys are doing, like gas prices, for example. This is not a Republican issue. This is not a conservative issue. This is an issue for all Americans. I'll say this, because I think that the limited government, low taxes, healthy economy, all of which the Republicans embrace, is, directed at sort of lower income Americans. But certainly Democrats claim to have sort of cornered the market on serving that sector of our electorate. And who gets punished the worst by gas prices, bad economy, unemployment ticking up, but poorer Americans? And so it just puts a total lie to their entire scam that they try pulling off every 2 years.
All right, the Colonial Pipeline hack. No big deal, at least that's what I perceive from the Biden administration. Hey, pay the ransom if you want, and we'll just move on. Definitely.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, it's such a poor response to that. I mean, you know that one group of hackers gets away with it. There are going to be others.
One of the simplest policies that we always have is you don't negotiate with terrorists. And you don't. And because all that does is it ensures that you get more terrorists. And obviously, these people claim to have been motivated entirely by profit, but it's no different. You don't negotiate with people like that. That is where public policy comes in. But these people, first of all, they're so clueless. They have no concern at all, no concept of trying to how do you use your limited government power to try to get a better result out of things. They have no concept of that. And then suddenly they become like these free market, free company people who are like, oh, well, that's a private company decision. What? Since when did you all start saying that things are a private company decision?
Yeah.
You never believe that in anything. But suddenly when it comes to the flow of oil moving up and down the east coast of the United States, they're like, oh, well, we're hands off. It's whatever private companies think is best.
Yep. The Israeli-Hamas battle. The squad is terribly upset that Hamas, the terrorist group, is getting hit. Where is Sleepy Joe on this?
Yeah, and this really does reveal something that I think a real schism within, I think, a lot of people who supported Joe Biden in the election. And it's kind of funny to see, you see a lot of people who are suddenly surprised to find out that the leadership of the Democratic Party has no problem with Hamas. They treat Hamas as being sort of like on equal footing with Israel, which is a established global citizen of good standing in the world. And they're going to equate that with Hamas, which is a designated terrorist organization. It's insane. But of course, when you try to treat Iran as being just sort of another country, it's, the largest state sponsor of terrorism around the world. They literally are funding organizations like Hamas to commit terror against innocent citizens who believe in civilization. And it's a wild, crazy theocracy. But I really do think that there are a lot of Democrats who, like I said, didn't like Donald Trump. I understand that. They voted for Joe Biden. They believe in like the whole Black Lives Matter movement. They believe that there needs to be fixes made, the way police handle situations and stuff like that. But they're waking up and they realize that these people are not only in bed with Iran, they want to be in bed with Hamas as well. And those people are like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah. Then there's John. I voted for the $87 billion before I voted against it. Kerry. Every time he opens his mouth, he says something stupid. And he's basically writing off the human slavery being displayed in China. And he does it before the Foreign Relations Committee.
How crazy is that? John Kerry is among the dumbest people. John Kerry and Joe Biden together sort of are in competition for the dumbest people to serve in Washington over the past 3 or 4 decades, 5 decades, whatever it is. I mean, literally the dumbest people. And you can always tell dumb people because they spend so much effort and time trying to sound smart, which means they want to say all the things that everybody around them is saying. And if that means, if you're in Washington and you're just parroting all the nonsense you hear from other people in Washington, pretty good indication that you're probably a moron, but also an unthinking moron. The idea that he would sit there and talk about the importance of encouraging China to build solar panels using slave labor, and then when he gets called on the idea that, are we concerned about slavery in China? And his response is, oh, that's not my lane. That's not your lane? Are you freaking kidding me? This is what these people think. And they really do believe it's part of that blind religious zealotry that they have for global warming. And they don't care about the science. They don't care that science doesn't support any of it. All they care about is the control part of it. They see it. And actually, and again, to give full credit to John Kerry, he is immensely stupid. And so it is entirely possible that he is so dumb that he's not even able to understand exactly what he's buying into. And same with Joe Biden, poor guy. You know, the guy is so far in over his head. He's, been at this for 50 years, and he's been trying to be president forever. He's always been rejected. It took a sort of an extraordinary moment of a pandemic twinned with a real revolutionary like Donald Trump that freaked a lot of people out. That was the only way Joe Biden could ever become president. And they're both so dumb. It's impossible. It's entirely possible that they don't even get what they're pushing with this environmental zealotry. But what it's all about, it has nothing to do with the environment, and it has nothing to do with global warming. It all has to do with government control. The people who are pushing all this stuff, they see it as a way, just like the pandemic, they see it as a way to gain control over every aspect of people's lives. And, whether you're a farmer, who cares more about the environment than a farmer who actually needs the healthy land in order to, feed his family?
Yeah.
But these people think that, oh, no. You know what we need? We need slave labor in China building solar panels. And by the way, Andy, I'll say that, I love the idea of solar energy. I love the idea of multiplying all the different ways, nuclear, all these different things. The problem with wind is, well, it doesn't really work. But, all these things are great. And if the market sees a place to utilize these things, that's fantastic. But slavery in China, which is, by the way, not a normal marketplace. That's a market that is only made possible by horrible, horrible governments. The idea that that's perfectly justifiable in the name of solar panels. It's like, wow, these people, they're dumb, and they are either evil or they are supporting evil regimes.
Yeah, and what's sad about all of this, when Biden closed down the Keystone Pipeline, the promise was made to those losing jobs that they would be part of this new clean energy, and they would be the ones making these solar panels. And what happens? We go over there and buy the cheap garbage.
So I think you've hit on something. Those guys that were working on the pipeline, to really win the lottery, for them to be really lucky, what John Kerry should do is they should put them all in his private jet, could fly them to China and put them in a slave camp, and they could work as slaves in a Chinese slave camp building solar panels. That is the way to full employment. I mean, if you really want to tick down the unemployment rate and get all those people wonderful jobs, really fulfilling jobs, maybe that's what they could do. But how funny is that? We have terrorists, malign actors who come in and cripple the East Coast fuel supply by shutting down the biggest oil pipeline on the East Coast. How funny is that? That is exactly what Joe Biden did on his first day in the White House, was to go and shut down a pipeline to prevent oil from passing through the center of the country. Isn't it kind of funny? That wasn't even an illegal action. He wasn't even being a criminal. It didn't take a criminal to do that. It didn't take dark, shadowy criminals out of Russia to do that. It was Joe Biden sitting out in the open, signing something saying, I'm shutting down this pipeline.
That's amazing. You know, it really is scary, though. Yesterday, when I saw him in that pickup truck out at the Ford plant, I thought, oh my God, he's behind the wheel.
Yeah, I always marvel at this. I just hope that when I get into that condition in life, and I am that out of it and just gone, I really do hope that my family loves me enough to just wheel me off the stage and be like, "Yep, Dad, we need to go home. You need to go home and take your insure back at the house." But apparently, I mean, they don't care. They just
I
them out.
know. Folks, you can read all of Charlie Hurt's columns at WashingtonTimes.com. Thank you, Charlie. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, buddy. Always a joy.
Thanks for listening to Politically Unstable with Charlie Hurt. Remember, you can read all of Charlie's columns at WashingtonTimes.com, and while you're there, check out our great selection of podcasts. I'm Andy Parks. Have a great day.